Good morning or afternoon, everybody, whenever you happen to be watching this short form video. I am Jason Rouslin, your host of Rouslin's 3-Ball. Well, I certainly hope I'm the host. My name is in it. So if somebody else is doing it, maybe I'm on vacation or whatnot, maybe we'll have to change the name. But anyhow, I am back for another edition of this short form video where I go into just a little bit about the tournament, a little bit about the course, and then give you my 3-ball, my 3 picks for this week. Maybe they're not necessarily picks, just players in the field that you want to be on notice about, or maybe you want as part of your lineups this week. So without further ado, let's jump right into this week's tournament. It is the Travelers Championship. And how about that? Pretty seamless. That might be one of my first times. Anyways, of course, you can find more information about this week's tournament for free, the players playing in it, a statistical breakdown, as well as a DFS daily fantasy sports preview, all for free on awesemo.com/PGA. Find the first cut article, probably about 2 or 3 down, and that is free. So it might also be in the banner. So, all right, let's learn a little bit about the Travelers Championship. It is played on a course called TPC River Highlands. It's nestled in the Connecticut forest, and it's pretty dense up there. You know, I come from Rhode Island, as most of you guys know. If this is not your first video I hail from Rhode Island, moved down to Florida a couple of years ago. So this tournament actually is the only tournament in New England all year, as the Dell Championship up at TPC Boston was nixed for this year. It'll be back in the rotation for next year as they cut out one of those playoff events due to the scheduling changes. So anyways, the tournament started as, not a surprise, as the Insurance Classic, as Hartford was really the hub of insurance back in the 90s and 80s. During that booming industry, and it then became the Greater Hartford Open for many years, and it's been in the area since the 1970s. And with that, and because it's the only tournament in New England, and the fact that it always tends to give the young players that are just had graduated college, it's been played during this time of the year almost every year since, of course, New England weather is questionable, but now it's, of course, starting to turn very nice. So they always give these recent college grads a chance. They've given a list of them over the last 10 years, and this year they've given it to all 3 supposed stars, and Justin Sue as well. So even if you want to include him, 4. So we're going to learn about one of those stars here in a little bit. So 43 of the top 100 in the world are here to compete. A very strong field for a non-major. It is one of the best tournaments that is not a major all year. Because of that, DraftKings upped their $5 prize pool to $150K. They've also got $100K to 2 other tournaments as well. FanDuel $30K to first in the $9, $5K to first in the $3. So pretty good contest all around. All right, let's learn about the players. The first one we're going to talk about today is Paul Casey. And Casey actually had a chance to win this tournament last year and should have been a factor last week, but struggled around the greens, and what a surprise, a little bit on the greens as well. But this week, the greens aren't going to be as tricked up. The green complexes themselves are a lot easier to deal with. And of course, the rough around the greens are not going to be nearly as high. So I expect those numbers to come down. The ball striking numbers looked great. DraftKings price is reasonable at $9,500. FanDuel at $11,300. As I just mentioned, the recent form, 21st last week, it was a little scary at the Charles Schwab. He was right in it after day one, shot a nice 2 under par there. But had to withdraw due to the flu. Then he tweeted a picture of himself out at the hospital to get testing, but obviously back and fine in form, 21st at the U.S. Open. So not really worried about it. Ranked 19th on the year in approaches and 9th off the tee. So pretty good statistical for Paul Casey. Next player we're going to learn about is Bubba Watson. And Bubba Watson, you know, the theory on Bubba is play him at courses that he likes. Well, certainly this is one of the courses he likes, as he's a 2-time, might even be 3-time, honestly, defending champion. But this year he's really struggled with his approaches, at least recently. Of course, off the tee, he's fantastic, 2nd on the year. 8-9 on DraftKings, 10,200 on FanDuel. But the recent form, however, not so great. Miscut at the U.S. Open, a 63rd at the RBC Canadian Open on, of course, courses that are very short and tight. So I'm not sure about Bubba this week, but had to put him in there as the 2-time, maybe multiple-time defending champion. So Bubba Watson, at least worth a couple of looks in your lineups this week. Last guy we're going to talk about is a golfer that is growing in popularity on my corner, at least, maybe a tad bit of a man crush over here. And I like to have them on these young players. I like to find them as quickly as possible. Of course, one of the things that that I found is a significant edge in this game is finding these guys that can come out and compete right away on tour, and the statistical models and modules won't find them yet. So a lot of the players won't, a lot of the gamers won't find them, or a lot of the high-level gamers won't see these guys quite yet. And so I like him. Patrick Cantlay was a perfect scenario back at the Valspar a couple of years ago. Jordan Spieth, John Rahm, all these guys have a historic proportion when they first come out of having a low ownership, but yet their form and their talent might not be the case. So he did not come in 355th at the U.S. Open last week. He actually came in 35th. An extra 5 slipped in there. I apologize. There's my one little silly mistake, a little spelling or grammatical mistake there. 14th at the Canadian Open and his first ever start as a pro. That's what got me excited about this kid. He turns it on, first ever start, and just comes out and kills it. So he'll need a couple of more good starts here. Hopefully a top 10 or 2 to get him a free start. And maybe make his way towards a PGA Tour card. Victor Hovland and Matthew Wolff, the college stars, will also be joining him this week. So hopefully that gives you guys a pretty good start on what you're going to need this week and what type of golfer you might want to be focusing on. Of course, if you want more information or my whole picks, I put out my entire player pool. You can go ahead and find that and become an OsmoPlus.com member. And of course, we put out a bunch of other information. And of course, my partner in crime there, Ben Raza, and I will be on our Wednesday night show if you're new to this. And of course, he's got some great content that'll be coming out today. So until next time, everybody, I'll be coming out, of course, with my chalk report tonight. And of course, my model breakdown for all of you that are following along. Until next time, everybody, cheers.